Hello class 7 students, welcome back to the Civics session. Today we are going to start chapter 3rd, State Government. Learning Objectives. State Legislature, Legislative Assembly, Members of State Government Functionaries, Advocate General, Legislative Council, Legislation, Civil Services. Let's warm up. Answer the following questions. A. Which building is shown in the given picture? B. In how many houses is the parliament divided? Name them. C. Who designed this building? Application skills. Read about the current CM of Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath, and ask questions to your partner. Yogi Adityanath was born as Ajay Mohan Bisht in a Kshatriya family on 5 June 1972 in the village of Panchur in Pauri Garhwal, Uttar Pradesh, now in Uttarakhand. His father's name is late Anand Singh Bisht. His father Anand Singh Bisht was a forest ranger. He was the second born in the family. Among 4 brothers and 3 sisters, he completed his bachelor's degree in mathematics from Hemwan Nandan Bahuguna Garhwal University in Uttarakhand. Yogi Adityanath has kept all his books from childhood to BSc in a cupboard till now. Yogi Adityanath is very fond of animals and birds. He goes to Gaushala every day. He left his home around the 1990s to join the Ayodhya Ram Temple movement. Mahant Avidyanath of Gorakhnath Mand chose Yogi Adityanath as his political advisor on 15th February 1994 and a young Hindu leader in the country's politics. Yogi Adityanath formed the Hindu Yuva Vahini organization which aims to protect the cow. Yogi Adityanath was a prominent campaigner of the Bharatiya Janata Party (BJP) in 2017 assembly elections in the state of Uttar Pradesh. He became the chief minister in the BJP government formed in 2017 and again in 2022. State Legislature. Every state has a legislative assembly or Vidhan Sabha constituted of members, MLAs. These members are elected by the people of the state. Like the 2 houses of parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Some states also have 2 houses, Vidhan Sabha or legislative assemblies or Vidhan Parishad or legislative councils. The legislatures that have both the legislative assembly and legislative council are known as bicameral, while the others who have only the legislative assembly are known as unicameral. Many states of India such as West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Gujarat, etc. have the unicameral legislature. Other states such as Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh have bicameral legislature. Legislative Council. The Legislative Council or Vidhan Parishad is also known as the upper house. According to the Constitution of India, the strength of the Legislative Council cannot be over 1/3 strength of the Legislative Assembly and not less than the number 40. However, it is never the final composition. The number of members in this unit is only finalized when the Parliament approves. The members of the Legislative Council, MLCs, are elected by referent electors in the following manner. A 1/3 of members of municipalities, district boards, etc. B. 1/12 by graduates residing in that state. C. Members of Legislative Assembly. D. The remainder nominated by the governor. The role of the people in the council selection is indirect and the electoral college for the council election includes local authorities, MLAs, graduates, teachers, etc. Many times the renowned person from various fields are nominated to the council. The council chooses or elects its chairman and deputy chairman amongst its members. The members of the council are elected for a term of 6 years, though it is set up in such a way that 1/3 of the members of the council do not retain any power after 2 years. All the powers and strength that this unit holds depends on the working of the Legislative Assembly. Eligibility. To become a member of the council, an individual needs to be a citizen of India. The person must have her name in the voters list. Also, the person needs to be 30 years and not financially bankrupt. Legislative assemblies. Vidhan Sabha or state legislative assembly is the lower house of the state. It is composed of the representatives who are elected by people from assembly constituencies within the state. These constituencies have been set in a manner to ensure the proportional representation of the population in the assembly. Those states who have a large population will have a proportionally larger assembly. Therefore, the largest populated state, Uttar Pradesh, has 403 members in the Legislative Assembly, while the others low populated state like Sikkim has only 32 members. The constitution of our country has divided the Legislative Assembly into the upper and lower limit. Both the seats are limited and cannot be over 500 or less than 60. Only in Goa, Mizoram and Sikkim, this rule is not applicable. In these states, their assemblies have less than 60 members. Besides, for the elected members, the governor can nominate one member of the Anglo-Indian community also. The assembly is led by the speaker and deputy speaker who are elected by the MLAs. This is the image of a state legislature meetings. The tenure of a legislative assembly is 5 years. However, under circumstances, the governor can dissolve the houses before its timely completion. The term of legislative assembly can be extended by 1 year during emergency but not beyond 6 months after the emergency comes to end. Eligibility. The qualification required to be a member of the legislative assembly are be a citizen of India, should be 25 years old, must be registered voter in any constituency of the state. Legislation. The legislation is the process of preparing and enacting the laws. The house where this rules-making process takes place is called the legislature. In this process, the MPs, MLCs and MLAs are involved. The participant member in the rule-making process are called legislator. They enact laws for country and the people are obligated to follow them. Process of making laws. First, the draft of the bill of law is introduced either in the Legislative Assembly or in the Legislative Council of the state. After they discuss, they introduce law in the House, then they make an amendment. If they pass the bill, they send it to the governor for the approval. After the signature of the governor, the bill becomes an act. Members of the state functionaries. There are some very essential members of state functionaries that play different roles in the functioning of the government. In the loop. The longest serving chief minister of an Indian state was Jyoti Basu. He served as chief minister of West Bengal from 1977 to 2000. Governor. The governor is the head of a state just like the president is the head of the country. He/she is appointed by the president and held office for a term of 5 years. However, president can remove the governor at his discretion. Also, the president can extend the tenure as well. The power of governor is like the president but at the state level. The governor appoints government's ministers such as chief minister, chairperson, advocate general and the members of the State Public Service Commission. The first session of the state legislature opens with the governor's address. Plus, a governor has the power to send a message or summon a session of a state legislature. This is the picture of Anandiben Patel, current governor of Uttar Pradesh. The bills passed by the state legislature have to be accepted and signed by the governor. If the state legislature is not in session, then governor can issue orders called ordinances. This ordinance will be valid until 6 weeks after the next session of the state legislature, but the state legislature has the power to approve it or not. The governor also has the power to reduce or suspend a sentence passed by the courts under state laws. Chief ministers, CM. After the state elections, the elected MLAs of the party with the majority elect their leader who becomes the chief minister. The CM chooses the minister for various departments. After all these processes, the government selects the CM and other ministers. The CM and other ministers have separate offices to carry out their work. The CM serves as connection between the Council of Ministers and the governor. The CM divides and controls the work of different departments. The major functions of chief ministers are advise the governor on the selection of the Council of Ministers and its size, control and manage the cabinet meetings, distribute the portfolios among the council of ministers, appoint the deputy chief minister. The speaker fixes the meeting timing of the legislature on the advice of the chief minister. This is the picture of Yogi Adityanath, Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh since March 2017. Fact file. In 2005, a religious purification drive was led by Yogi Adityanath, where more than 5,000 people were converted to Hinduism in UP's Etah. This drive is known as Ghar Wapsi. Think smarter. Why is CM Yogi Adityanath being called Bulldozer Baba? Council of Ministers. The Council of Ministers is a team of ministers which assist the Chief Minister in his work. The Council of Ministers must consist of the members of the legislature. If they are not, then they have to get elected for the legislature within 6 months. At the state level, the three categories of ministers include cabinet ministers, ministers of state, and deputy minister. A cabinet minister controls the overall charge of one or more portfolios. Also, the cabinet makes all the important decisions. Civil services. All the decisions made by ministers are executed by the officers of the civil service. They run the administration of a state the way they do at the center. At the state level, the Indian Administrative Service (IAS) and Indian Police Service (IPS) are appointed for the civil services. The State Public Service Commission (PSC) also appoint a certain number of officials. Most of the secretaries in charge of various departments work under the Chief Secretary. They divide the state into administrative units called divisions, which are looked after by divisional commissioners. They divide these into districts administered by district magistrates. Advocate General. An advocate general is an official of a state who gives advice to the executive on legal matters and perform other legal functions allocated by the governor. This is the image of A.K. Mishra, UP Advocate General, appointed in May 2022. Also, she holds the office during the pleasure of governor. Only the person who has qualification to be a High Court judge can apply for this post. An Advocate General can take part in the process of the state legislature but doesn't have the power to vote. Hence, it is necessary that these bodies work smoothly in the administrative process. Value and life skills. What would you fix as a tenure for the President and Chief Minister if you were a part of Parliament? Recapitulation. Every state has a legislative assembly or Vidhan Sabha constituting of members MLAs. The legislatures that have both the legislative assembly and council assembly are known as bicameral, while the others who have only the legislative assembly are known as unicameral. The legislative council or Vidhan Parishad is also called the upper house. To become a member of the council, an individual needs to be a citizen of India. The constitution of our country has set up the upper and lower limit of the strength of a legislative assembly. The tenure of the legislative assembly is 5 years. The legislation is the process of enacting laws. The house where this rule-making process takes place is called the legislature. The governor is the head of the state, just like the president, who is the head of the country. The governor appoints government ministers such as chief ministers, chairpersons, advocate general, and the State Public Service Commission members. If the state legislature is not in session, then governor can issue orders called ordinances. The chief minister serves as a link between the council of ministers and the governor. The chief minister divides and controls the work of different departments. The council of ministers is the team of ministers who assist the chief minister in his work. All the decisions made by ministers are executed by the officers of the civil services. They run the administration at the state level. An advocate general is an official of a state who gives advice to the executive on legal matters and performs other legal functions assigned to him by the government. Thank you, class. Let's meet again in the next chapter.